What are you laughing about?
I just like that. Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Hey,
that's kind of my thing.
it
It
is.
is.
I've started like every episode that way.
I think you need to have like a wave like, hey, everybody.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Muni Misfits. This is where the three golf pros from Fargo talk about golf and other things. That's my intro today. So, what do we got going on at the golf courses, boys? Anything? Anything to report?
Go for it, GMAC.
Golf is great. We've had some great weather. The leagues are going gangbusters. We've had some corporate events. Els Eagles had a couple junior tour events, both Discover and others, and we are sunrise at 5 and sunset at 9:27. So Fargo Golf is rocking and rolling. Let's go.
9:27.
I know that.
It's a long day. What's going on at Creek?
It remains busy. Kind of same thing. Wash, rinse, repeat. We've got the Roger Maris going on this week. So that'll be kind of an exciting event coming up on Thursday. That kind of adjusts our schedule a little bit. So we'll have our women's league on Tuesday nights and we'll move our men's to Wednesday night this week because of the Maris. But no, the weather has been just amazing for golf. I mean, we haven't hardly had any rain whatsoever. Temperatures have been very warm. And people have been coming out in groves. So it's been awesome.
We have our first corporate event tonight at Osgood. We've got McNilla Steel. That's our first one of the year. So we did pretty good for not having corporate events up until at this point. And then, next week I'm going to be helping you out with the Maris. We're going to be over at Rose Creek, and then also we're all together in the broadcast booth, aren't we? Not in the booth.
Do
but
we, are we?
I,
I have no idea what's going on there. Now that's kind of typical of my life right now, but are we?
I believe so. We've been.
Okay.
Yep, we're going to be.
All right.
The Misfits are going to be broadcasting at the Red River Am. So, given our insight as far as a really high-end amateur golf tournament at Moorhead Country Club. So excited to be there. We did that last year. It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot, by the way. You were excellent, Greg.
You know what? I don't think I was excellent.
False.
But I say this all the time. The people who do that for a living are amazing because that is a whole new animal. It is unreal the stuff that goes on. I mean, they make it look like it's just a piece of cake and they're just sitting there doing nothing and they're talking about golf, which I can always do. No. Stacey Anderson's got to just hate me.
The thing that's amazing when you're in like that broadcast that I really have a difficult time with is that you've got people in your ear constantly, and so you can hear the behind the scenes stuff, and then you have to be ready to go when the camera's on or the like you said, the mic is hot. And I struggle to like walk and chew gum at the same time. So like getting all that all together is like really difficult.
So if I'm behind the desk at all this weekend, and I don't
You
know,
are.
I don't know where I am. I am going to do one of my goals. You know, we go through it, and I listened to it about 2 weeks ago at like 3 a.m. because I want to do better.
Yeah.
It was my first time. I want to do better. I'm gonna do better with throwing it out to whoever I'm throwing it out to. Because last year it was like, okay, let's go to Chris Larson, and I forget that there's a little delay and things like that. So that's a goal of mine to be better to you on the course.
Yeah, you really kind of appreciate that whole production team as well. Just there's so much to kind of navigate around, whether it's weather and just some of the logistics as far as we even had issues of getting reception as far as out in some of the far reaches of the golf course. And like you say, coordinating the whole timing when you're going back and forth between the booth where you were or being out on the course like where you and I were. But it was a fun time.
It's
I
a
really
blast.
It's a
I
good
was
time.
beat.
Yeah, that is a long weekend of golf.
And kudos to Moorhead Country Club, Red River Amateur, all the sponsors. I know that they're so involved in it and they love it. And they after one, to get together after we got done last year was just like so cool watching how excited everybody is to be there.
I thought the funniest part of that weekend was like the first day I showed up. And we had production meetings and stuff, but then they just kind of throw you the mic and throw you the headset, and I'm like, oh, like this is okay. We are doing that. Like this is legal. You're gonna let me have a mic and I can just talk. And this is it was kind of amazing that they allowed us 3 and Murph to be able to just
And
kind of
David
run with it.
Schultz helped, and Jeff
Yep.
Kolpak helped, and kudos to everybody else who's involved in it, who has the time and separates it out to do that. So, our goal is to keep doing this, I believe, and we look forward to a great field, and we'll try to be better.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's next week, and they can, I believe, it's on WDAY
Extra.
Extra. So, yeah. Well, we kind of got sideways there. I didn't even expect to talk about that, but what else do we have cooking? So we definitely have to talk U.S. Open today. Since that we're right in the middle of it. There's some hot takes going on at LACC. It's an interesting event to watch. Um, I don't know if it's necessarily amazingly interesting to watch while you're there. It doesn't seem like it's a super We kind of knew going in that this wasn't going to be a super spectator friendly golf course, just because of the design of it and how to get people in and get people out. Um, but I know you are dying to talk about the scores and how it's set up. Like, what's your take, Greg?
So my
Before
my
I
my
get
my
into it.
my take after day one.
Yep,
This is a major.
correct.
This is the U.S. Open. Now, I may have a little different aspect on the scoring than everybody else, but this is like a regular tour event. The scores are like a regular tour event, and quite frankly, that's wrong, in my opinion.
I I I agree with you. When you have so when Ricky's going in there to shoot 8 under first day, and then you have Xander following right after him shooting another 8 under, and the previous record in the U.S. Open. Well, no, was it? Yeah, previous record was 63. Correct. So, and that just you have two guys that do it in one day. Granted, when Johnny Miller did that, that was final round. Slightly different. The golf course does not have teeth in it right now. I kind of get the feeling that they're trying not to lose it early, like if they let it dry out. And I think eventually that golf course is going to play considerably tougher. However, it seemed kind of soft. I don't know what you guys thought.
Yeah, and I think they made reference to that too. I think they got caught a little bit with some mist as far as before the round. I think some of those things made it a little bit softer, more wet. I think they'd had some tees that were played up on Thursday as well, so the golf course I think was playing quite a bit shorter. So I mean, all those kind of made it very conducive, I think, to scoring. I have a feeling, if they can work it out with Mother Nature and they'll move tees back, and I'm sure they'll start making some a little more difficult hole locations that I think it'll start to go back a little bit, but still, I think there was 37 guys that were under par.
What
And typically a tournament that if you get 5 to 10, 10 might be a lot, of guys finishing under par as far as for the completion of the tournament. And been quite frequent. There's been probably only, a few guys under par.
Yeah, I
So
think Tom Hoagie shot 2 over. He's like 130th in the field.
Yeah.
That's not right. And again, right here's my issue with this. I heard that the USGA was setting the golf course up like the architect intended.
Yeah.
Stop it. Completely stop it.
So,
Architect wants to see 35 under par.
do you think so?
Oh, for sure he does.
Why do you think that?
Well, look, he took all the trees out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to Josh Person's statement. You can't bunker me out of a low score. So when you take all the trees out, I mean, aesthetically, he wants it to look a certain way, and he's done
I
that.
get that. Yep.
I kind of have a up against him anyway because the first thing he does is take out every tree. So I just don't. I just don't think it's on a regular tour event. It'd be awesome if this was the LA Open. This is great, but for the U.S. Open, come on.
Yeah, and there's I don't like seeing in a major where they're just hacking stuff out of the rough, and then hacking it up to the front of the green, and then it becomes a chipping and putting contest. I'm not a fan of that type of golf either, but like, man, these guys are kind of given a lot of leniency off of the tee. I mean, they can kind of spray it all over the place, and the before, like, going into the golf tournament, guys were saying, "Oh no, this is all about angles. This is not a bomber's deal. This is all about you got to be able to play the angles well." Every time I'm seeing guys miss fairways, doesn't seem to be that much of a penalty. Um, the green speeds, I mean, that's we are seeing some balls roll around more so than normal. The greens are slopey in some spots, but it's not. I don't think it's like crazy abnormal from any other tour event that you were saying. And I do think these guys are just able to throw it at the pins right now. That the ball is stopping. So it'll be interesting to see where the golf course goes. If they kind of let it get firm and fast, like I think all of us are kind of hoping for it to get. I that feels more like a U.S. Open to me, anyway.
It's amazing, like, when some of the opens, some of the same guys rise to the top a lot. I mean, Schauffele's right up there and shooting 8 under as well. He's had some great experiences there in the last recent years. Dustin Johnson is up there at 6 under. Rory's been playing quite well in the opens, 5 under. Scotty Scheffler, man, that guy, he's 3 under. So, I mean, still, I think in the mix. Maybe some surprises of guys that have done pretty well in the recent years, like Colin Morikawa was 1 over. Um, and John Rahm at -1 even. It's probably a little low on for him. And like you say, Tom Hoagie at +2. But yeah, I heard a couple different people make reference saying that it's probably the easiest setup at LA Country Club, probably in the history of the U.S. Open that they can remember.
Again,
So
are we a regular tour event or are we actually a major? And
yeah.
the part that I'm not going to like about this is now, right? Now it's going to change. So we have one day where we're playing 35 under par, and then the next day
It will change for
well,
sure.
no, that's what I mean. Is that and this is just my opinion. If everybody wants to see it, I think that's great. But to me, it should be fairly similar, in my opinion, for 4 days. I know that's really hard to do, but we're in 2023. I mean, we should be able. They did it forever, and now we can't do it. I mean, it shouldn't. I can see it getting a little progressively harder, but from Thursday to Sunday, like you said, it's going to get harder. And did you identify the best golfer, or did you identify the guy who played Thursday morning?
Hmm. Yeah, and I 100% agree with you. The part that I don't like about this event simply is how, I mean, this is supposed to be the most democratic. This is supposed to be the US Open, right? And I love it when we can get spectators in there and you get these giant galleries and you see the crowds. This is not a spectator friendly event. I heard that there's like 1,000, close to 1,000 members at LACC. Each one of them receives 4 tickets. So after that, there's like 2,000 tickets roughly per day allowed to the general public. So when you start seeing and there's actually just one grandstand behind hole 15 that is only for LACC members. I mean, the corporate hospitality and all of that stuff that goes, but this is by far seems to be the most corporate US Open that I think that we have ever seen, and it's not for the fans. It's for ads, it's for sponsors, it's for, um, it's unfortunate that, we have we have so many venues that we can go to, and this one was primed to be just epic, right? West Coast, you got prime time. It's looking like this golf course. Everyone's amped up for this golf course, but it turns out that it's not the greatest spot to get people in and out of. Shocker, LA, and then old time golf. It looks like when you see these aerials, you're like, oh my God, this golf course is in the middle of Central Park. Trying to get people in and out of there would be just a nightmare. Coupled with they're restricting the amount of people that they will even give access to, like tickets. So I don't know. When I heard like a couple of people were being announced on the first tee, and it was just like crickets. There's like no one there. So that's an interesting take too, I think. Very different from Boston last year. You know what I mean? I mean, that's cool, when you get people all excited for the US Open. So I don't know what's your take on the US Open. What do you like the golf course? Do you guys
I didn't I didn't get a chance to see any of the coverage
okay.
yesterday, and I don't know much about the golf course itself. So just from what I've heard a little bit from people talking, but there's a lot of low scores there. I kind of like to see the open. I don't need to see people like gagging all over their foot joys and stuff like that. But you do maybe like to see just a little bit better tests and, like you say, kind of just a regular tour event. But one takeaway though, I don't know if maybe I just haven't been paying much attention over these last several weeks, but has there just been like a lot of talk about this Ricky Fowler resurgence? Because I thought I heard something like where he may have in his last 8 starts might have been like 7, maybe top 20s. I don't know if I heard that right or not, but I mean, he is playing well right now. This is a guy that seems like he had lost it for quite some time. We're kind of wondering if he'd ever come back. And I think Ricky Fowler's is another guy that's just great for the game. You know, a lot of people love to follow him. You know, he's kind of fun and flamboyant and great personality. And so I think Greg just took off.
Broadcast brought to you by Delta.
Yes,
Thanks
exactly.
for our sponsors. Appreciate that.
And so it's been kind of fun to see. You know, he had the putter working yesterday, it sounded like. And so
He's due.
Agreed. That would be
He's
an
due.
epic.
It would be.
Wouldn't it
Yeah.
be awesome?
And I've never been a great Ricky Fowler fan. I don't know why. I just, you know, now I'm like, you know what? Wouldn't it be awesome if Ricky Fowler won the U.S. Open after spending 3 years in, you know, where he hasn't played good? Golf is hard. You know,
It's so hard.
it's so hard.
So, all right. Well, interesting takes on the U.S. Open. Looking forward to watching that and concluding that this weekend. So, happy early Father's Day to all you guys.
You too. You.
Yeah.
you guys as well.
Another major
Yes.
happened
Yes.
at which major are we talking about? Because we have a couple majors, but
Rose Creek Midsummer Tournament yesterday.
do you want to talk about that?
We did have that. I forgot. I totally gapped that out when talking about Rose Creek, but that was kind of cool. I think we had roughly around 120 players yesterday. We had a few bail out right before the tournament. And so it was a beautiful day for golf. The golf course is in nice shape. The scores weren't quite like the U.S. Open. They were a little higher, although
You're protecting par out there. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I want to say we had 3 different divisions. We had like our Rose division, which tend to be just kind of those guys under 60 years of age that are playing that are under an 8 handicap, 8 or under. And then we had our Creek, which would be a 9 and above. And then we also did have a senior division component. And Nick Halfley, who's new to the Rose Creek Men's Club this year, really good player. He ended up, I think, maybe shot 68, I believe. And he captured it as far as the trophy there, as far as for the midsummer. So congratulations to Nick. That was pretty cool. And Mark Bryan, I know, had won the seniors. Mark, I think, shot around 72. So some good playing. And we had a lot of really good scores. The scores were pretty tight. Just that was kind of fun. Midsummer already. And truly, you think of it, it's like middle of June. It's kind of is like almost midsummer already, which is crazy.
Shame on you. Stop it.
It's flying. Now, we got the other major happened at, I was going to go El Zagel. I feel like you look at Matt because
I wasn't going El Zagel, but
you were going to go.
can. Yeah, I was going to go. I was going to go towards the Father of the Year over here.
Okay, let's do that. So Sophie Cook is undoubtedly the best golfer in your household. Is that true or false?
I don't know. My wife's pretty good. That's my wife and Sophie are able to say something that I can never say, and that's being state golf participants in Minnesota. So, Sophie had a nice year again. You know, she's a sophomore at Holly High School. We've been living down there for, I think, about 26 years. My wife being a school teacher down there kind of brought us down in that neck of the woods. And she's got quite a passion as far as for the game of golf. She runs cross country in the fall and plays basketball in the winter, but golf has definitely been her passion, and she's really worked at it very, very hard these last couple of years. And so I know last year she came off the school season and kind of unexpectedly, not unexpectedly made it to the state tournament last year, but unexpectedly she played very well and finished 7th in the state last year. And so she was really quite excited, and she was right away committed to saying, you know what, I want to kind of better that. And so she worked really hard in the game. It's kind of definitely just kind of continuing to build as far as upon the season as her stroke average continued to kind of, go down and down and down. She advanced from the section tournament, which was at Bemidji Town and Country. She had fired, I think it was a 75 or something like that, 145 for second place in the section, which advanced her as an individual to the state tournament. And the state tournament was played down in Jordan, Minnesota at a golf course called Ridges at Sand Creek. Fun little golf course. It's over a big piece of property. There's a kind of a creek or a small river that runs through the golf course. So it's a little tricky as far as on the kind of the back side of the golf course. Puts an iron on your hands a lot as far as in some of the par 4s in the backside, kind of like some forced layups. And so it gives you some difficult shots in on the second. And she navigated around. She played really good. The first day, she had a little bit of trouble on the backside, where she went over, I think she was like 5 over in about a 4-hole stretch there. but managed to shoot 75, which kind of kept her in the mix and actually ended up being second after day one. So we went into kind of day two thinking that some of the individuals around here, we knew that they'd played some pretty good rounds of golf. So we kind of did like the Brooks Koepka thinking, well, I think I can beat like a third of these and another third's not going to play good. And no, but we were kind of thinking like,
That's so good.
if you could kind of keep this around level par, you maybe really have a good chance at, moving your way up the ladder. And she started out well. She got through, I think, the first 11 holes at 1 under par, was sitting in great shape. Um, they have a live leaderboard, you can go on your mobile as well. But the problem out in Jordan is that you get out on that lower portion and you've got no reception whatsoever. So we really didn't know exactly where she was at, which was kind of, nerve wracking itself. Just kind of wondering, oh, I wonder how things are going, and you don't know how some of the players were playing behind her. And yeah, so the last 4 holes, you could tell she was really getting tight. There was some clunkers and really leaving some putts quite short and having to make some big putts. And I would say overall, she probably maybe had more of like a B to B plus at the very best as far as ball striking for the week.
Okay, Earl.
No,
This is
Right.
an Earl Woods take right
she
now.
would be the first to say that too, though. It's been the last couple of weeks, but that's something I think where she's kind of learned like how to truly play the game. And that's where I think I was like most proud of her, is like just kind of gutting that out, finding a way to make par when you need to make par, try not to make big numbers, avoid that. If you have a clunker here or there, let's not, compound that by making either a dumb decision or another bad mistake. And so she just kind of kept it in play and, really putted very well day two and finished 73. So we thought, boy, we got to be kind of in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the scores are coming in, and a lot of the girls, like we said, that were kind of around us had shot much higher day two. It was a bit more challenging, I thought, in day two, just because of hole locations were really kind of challenging, I thought, on day two. And the greens are kind of ones that there's like a lot of undulation. So it makes it very difficult to fire at some of the holes that they had. And if you did, you could get penalized big time. You short side yourself there. It could have been very, very difficult. And Jordan, as well as the cities in general, has not had much rain. So we're brown around here. They are extremely brown to a point where, I mean, there was cracks out in the fairway, and
Wow.
the golf course was in pretty good shape considering as far as the weather, but the weather's been really harmful to them. And so she, kind of worked her way in and shot 73, sat and waited. And Grace Petzold out of Providence Academy shot an amazing 72 under par. So she ended up shooting, I think, 145. Sophie ended up 148, and that finished second as far as in the state. So it was really excited, and she was super proud. It's one of those deals. It's kind of funny. I mean, we're just like jacked because if you said like, what would be an adequate score going into the state tournament, what would be your expectation, what were your goals? And she didn't have any of that. At least nothing she gave to me or let me know. But we just said, wow, that would have been, yeah, we'd take that all day long. But then you get done and you always think, just as golf is, you think, oh man, if I'd only did this or wouldn't have done that, it's like many what ifs.
The fun part though, she's a sophomore. Like that's a sensational finish for a sophomore. That's a sensational finish, period. But you got 2 more years of this, of roaming around in the gallery and biting your nails, and that would be the hardest thing, is watching my kid play at high level golf. And I guess any sport, you have experience with that too, Greg. And you just, when it's your kid, it's like man, it's hard to watch, right? I mean, from the standpoint of like, are you trying to like mentally manage their game while you're out there, and almost like over analyzing the decisions that are made out there, or, "Well, gosh, why did you do this? Or why did you do that?" But not, obviously not like communicating that. That would be a really tough thing, because everyone's an individual. Everyone plays it differently. Although you just want to be out there helping so bad.
There was, she obviously experienced from last year. She played a practice round last year, then played the 2 rounds last year. They went down and played the day before. Um, some golf courses that have been new, like she plays quite a few tournaments in the summer, and we sometimes go out there and look at Google images and kind of get an idea as far as some of the golf courses. We didn't really do that with this one. We didn't talk a whole lot about it going in.
You didn't do the decade?
No.
You didn't decade that thing?
No, but she does a pretty good job, I think, of kind of figuring that stuff out. She takes like a lot of notes when she's out playing and stuff like that, which is good. Um, and so we didn't, you know, we talked a little bit afterwards. Just I asked her a couple questions just as far as like, what's with the club selection here, what's with the club selection there, and um, didn't say right or wrong. Just want to know what was going on in her
Right.
head. For the most part, I'm kind of like weird when I'm watching her. It's like I was a little bit more nervous probably day two. I haven't gotten too much nervous because she does a good job of really kind of staying kind of calm and collected. But she's played in so much of stuff now, and in her conference tournaments, the last couple years, she played with Mallory Belka the whole time. Mallory was a two-time state champion in 2A. So she's played with, I guess you'd say, the best the last couple years, a ton. And then through that Soda series with their players tour, there's so many good girls out there right now. I mean, if you look at the AAA, I mean, Catherine Van Aragon and I'm gonna I apologize, but I'm forgetting the girl. I think from Blaine. I don't know how I forget her because she's an amazing player. I mean, these girls were shooting something like 6 or 7 under or something like that for the 2 days over at Bunker Hills. And then there's just some other young talent out there as well. I mean, you got some seventh, eighth, ninth graders that are playing. And what's really cool to see is the boys' game is crazy
Oh,
right
it's
now.
unbelievable.
I mean,
It
it's
is.
stupid as far as like looking at you have to shoot over in Minnesota right now, whether you're in the AAA or AA. But then now the girls, it's just getting deeper and deeper, which is so cool to see. Last year, I think the winning score for Mallory, it was range shortened. I think might have been like even 7 over par for the 27 holes. And like I said, this year, doggone, you just about had to go even par to
So did
win
they
this thing.
change it this year from 27 back to, or excuse me? Oh, it got short. Never
It got
mind.
short
Yeah, I
because of
gotcha. Yep,
thunderstorms.
I
So the
gotcha.
boys that
Yep.
were able to get in all 36, but the
Yep.
girls were afternoon last year, and so that got delayed. But
Golf course setup was
I thought like
lengthwise.
lengthwise was not they for the high school season, they don't set those up real long. And what I mean by that is like, you're kind of playing between about 51 and 5,300 most of the time. So I get it because even like at the state tournament, there is obviously,
Wide range of scores.
yes, there's some really good players at the top, but when you get down to the bottom, there's some girls that, and just probably as you see sometimes in the boys as well. So they got to be a little bit probably cautious about that, I think. Um, Now we'll see a big difference. She's playing in the Minnesota Girls Championship Monday, Tuesday down in Faribault, Minnesota, the Legacy Golf Course. And right away now you're jumping up between 57 and 5,800 yards. She'll play next week in the Red River, and I imagine that's going to be 58, 59. I'm guessing. Is that what they played at probably at Moorhead? I'm not even quite sure.
Yeah, you're right there. So I mean, they'll kind of mix and match there with kind of that gold white tee distance. I think most times they're, when the colleges come out to practice there, they're playing basically the standard member tees out at MCC, the white tees. So you're, I mean, they could scoot it back even closer to 6,000. So
This Jordan course was probably, even though as far as distance wise, probably about 53, it probably played longer than that only because, like I said, there's 5 par 3s, 5 par 5s, 8 par 4s, and I would say at least 3 or 4 of those par 4s puts an iron in your hand off the tee. So you had one hole in particular which she struggled with, um, was probably like a 7 iron off the tee, and you probably may have had as much as like a 7 wood or something like that into the green. And so, but no, it was a fun experience. It was
really cool. I mean, that's just awesome. When I saw that popping up on Facebook, I'm like, this is just so. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to be in your shoes, rooting on your kid, watching that type of
Well, you have it
performance.
coming
So
up.
I
You're
hope so.
gonna, yeah, you
Yeah.
do. It's
So
gonna happen.
It was neat. Pequot Lakes. It was really cool. Kind of give a plug to the Northern. We had 3 guys and 3 girls in our section 8 that all finished top 5, and then Pequot Lakes took down Lake City. Lake City's kind of like the Dinos, the cake
Yep.
eaters. Hope there's no followers down Lake City, but but it was really cool to see Pequot take them down because they've been, I think it was back to back, or maybe it was back to back to back champions. And so Pequot Lake's got a really deep team. Pequot being up kind of the Brainerd area. I know Adam Haugen had even texted me, and he's got one girl on that team that works for her, a couple other good players, and they were so jacked. And it's just fun to see kind of the faces. They were all just screaming, whooping on up, and then they did the leap into the pond off of 18 after the deal.
nice.
Oh,
So that
cool.
was cool
Poppy's
too.
Pond.
Yeah, they kind of get on the note. Hey, just to let you know, we cleaned the pond. It's ready to roll. And so they all line on up and do the plunge, and they're splashing water at each other. And so that was all really kind of cool watching that. So
Awesome. Well, hey, we have another major too. Outside of that, we just completed Discover Tours. It was the 9U,
and
right?
12 you.
12U
9.
too.
Okay.
12 and 9. Yep, 9U, 12U.
Yeah, and that was at El Zagel. I heard great thing. I wasn't out there for this, but I did kind of take a peek at the leaderboard, and I did get some messages from some parents talking about how great of an experience was. Tori, you were out there.
It was, yeah. We went out to take pictures.
Yeah, give me your take on the atmosphere at El Zagel.
It was really fun. First of all, it was a beautiful day. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a nicer day, but I don't know, those kids are like little adults, I feel like they're so serious. And it's cute to see their parents caddying for them, carrying their bags around. But yeah, it's fun. We could have sat I was saying we could have sat at hole 1 all day on the hill and watched them tee off. It's fun. And you can see like, I mean, you stand up on the hill, you can see like the entire course. So it's fun to see the kids play, but some of those kids have an insane swing, like way better than mine. Are you kidding? They're good.
What do you guys think about getting Discover Tour bibs for like the parents?
For the caddies.
Yeah,
I think that's the
for-
next step.
isn't it? Like,
I do actually.
I've seen them do that like at the US Kids, and I'm kind of thinking, gosh, that's a kind of a cool thing to identify the caddy for the player. But the atmosphere from the pictures that I saw that went on social that parents were pushing out, I thought that the atmosphere and the presentation that was out there was just so cool. And it felt like a mini tour event kind of deal. And these kids, you could tell they were jacked to be playing. And it's nice to see that there's an event set up for that age group too, especially in that 9U. And then we're inviting the parents to come along and caddy and be part of the development of young golfers. So yeah, I kudos to you guys definitely for putting that schedule together and saying that, hey, this is a need in this area to promote. So
I think it was nice too. It was not childish at all, which I think the kids like, they want to play golf just like the adults do. So it wasn't a childish event, which made it more fun.
We really tried to, get the parents, grandparents, guardians, whoever is in their camp, I mean, to really take an active role in this. And I was asking like Jack Powers, my assistant, I said, hey, did you get that? Did you have like, parental support? Then he goes, yeah, we had really good presence there, which was great. And they're going to get to a point when they're getting a little bit older where some of that junior stuff, it's kind of like back off, hands off. You got to be away from your child. And so this is such a great opportunity for them just to kind of help them learn correctly. I mean, as far as when I say learn correctly, is just all the nuances of the game from rules, etiquette, moving along, where to put your bag, da da da. And so, and it just makes it kind of comforting and more fun for them. That's the biggest thing. And if they're having fun with it, they're going to continue to keep moving forward and playing, lifelong golf and more competitive golf. And so, yeah, I heard a lot of positive things. It's cool, with Tom Portland, they get, the whole Golf Genius going on. So, I mean, grandparents, friends, whatever can go on out there, check out scores, see where everything's at. That's really kind of neat too. So that was our goal, is to try to, do a nice professional kind of uh, twist to this deal and really make it a positive experience for all. And for just kind of starting out so far, it sounds like so far it's going good, and I think it's only going to continue to get better as we learn and grow from that. So
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah, shout out to Tom Porton, who's basically taken this thing and made it what it is, and shout out to Village Green. We had our first 18U event out at Village Green on Monday. A couple things that we need to work through. What new tours are like that?
mhm.
We were at the Zag on Wednesday. We're at Edgewood, I think, next Wednesday for an 18U event. So we're moving along. We're working on a website, so forgive us for that. So we're kind of redoing our website. Hopefully that's up by the end of June. So we look forward to good things, and yeah, we're ready to go. It was awesome to see yesterday.
Currently, though, if your child is playing in Discover Tour, they can check out the results currently with the Golf Genius website. So that's at discovertour.golfgenius.com, and you can check out all the results along with the tee sheets, the pairings, along with I believe just what you're registered for. So you can actually like scroll down and see all the different rounds and look at past results and things like that. So for the time being, that's a good spot to pick up some information if you're currently enrolled in Discover Tour.
Yep.
So,
Shout out to Bell Bank for being our sponsor. We got hats in Tuesday for yesterday. We got golf balls coming too. So we got some swag going on as well.
we need to put some swag in the podcast studio here. We need to get
Well, I'll grab it. I'll grab it.
All right. Awesome.
Tori can get like an owl or something like that. We can just kind of perch back here so I have someone to sit with.
I do love owls. They're so cool.
They are so wise.
We did have a chipmunk up in our DJ, so an owl will be next. That's fine.
Perfect. I think that'd be great. Right there, right on your, just perching on your shoulder, Matt. What else do we got today?
Something not so wise.
Yeah. What else do we have? Anything else that we need to cover?
Got to talk about Tori's golf.
Yeah. Hey, Tori, this is the golf check-in for Tori's golf. What's happening over at Tori's World?
I've been watching some tutorials.
Okay.
That's about it.
God, you're crushing me.
Who are you watching? What's
Well,
your
Manolo is my favorite, obviously. But there's some women on TikTok who have like great little, like under a minute tip segments.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Just
So you can
get out
learn
and-
a lot on TikTok.
Just get out and play. Don't be nasty.
I know.
Don't be nasty.
I'll get out there this weekend. I promise.
All right. So we've yet to have the Ladies League debut. Is that correct? We've yet.
Yeah, we tried and failed, and now we need to
Okay. So
give them
next
some
week.
time off.
We had to recover.
Yes, correct.
We did still play 6 holes that we're still recovering 3 weeks later.
All right. We'll check in next week.
I want to hear how Greg's sand.
Oh yeah,
Dang,
we
right.
God,
so
we totally blanked on that. Hey, way to pull that out.
thanks, Tori. Yeah, we on Monday, Larry Murphy, Dave Holm, Jeff Kolpak, and I took a little tour to 1 day, 2 golf courses, and this started on a Tuesday night, men's club night. Jeff Kolpak, Dave Holm, we're talking about doing a sand greens not event, but a tour. Tour is a little weird when it's only 18 holes, but anyway. So Monday we went to Maddock first. 190 miles away. It was Larry and Dave and Jeff and I, and Jeff's got a story in forum today about it, which is really cool. We played Maddock 9 holes. It was the first time that Jeff Kolpak and Larry Murphy had played sand greens.
Murph had never played
Never
sand
played
greens.
them. Nope. No. So it's a pretty cool. It was for me 2 things. One, it brought back some memories of playing, but I was so intrigued in watching Dave Holm had played some sand before, but watching Jeff and Larry, how they, first of all, when you show up at a place like that, it's not necessarily the same as we're used to, right? There was actually a pickup and a cart trailer in the parking lot on Monday morning. There was 2 younger guys out playing, which I was wondering if we'd even have any.
Was that the pickup just now?
Might have been, yeah. So, it's throw your money into the slot, sign the book. We at Maddock, we couldn't find a scorecard. First tee box is approximately 12 feet from the clubhouse. So you have to be careful where you're playing. And to watch Jeff and Larry just kind of stood there and he's like, well, this looks different. This is actually looks like a golf course to me. I said, well, it is, Larry. I mean, you got to do it. And so watching those guys play their first hole and, sand greens from 100 yards and in is different than it is playing grass. Jeff Kolpak's trying to flop it up there. And Jeff did that a lot the first 9 holes. Murph, after about, I would say 4 or 5 holes, got 8 iron, 7 iron out and started chipping it to there. So we played 9 holes there, had a blast. The greens there were, how's this funny, firm, really firm. And actually the pace was probably like a grass green. That's how firm they were.
Really?
Yes. And they have a round smooth rake to rake it to your ball when you putt, but they didn't have the other rake, which has nails in it to fluff up the sand. So then we went to Leeds and, shout out to the people at Leeds. We actually had 6 or 7 people show up to play with us. I mean, we were like celebrities. I'm like, well, we're not celebrities, but
They
anyway.
knew you were coming.
Well, yes, one of your previous members now lives there.
Yeah.
Yep. So, there was 5 or 6 other people to come out and play, and we played at Leeds. And at Maddock, they really didn't have a lot of mowing that had happened. So the dry areas were dry and the grass was short, and the lower areas where the grass was pretty long. When we got to Leeds, it was awesome. All the fairways were mowed, and we're talking short, tight fairways, which is really pretty cool. And the layout is good. That golf course, the last 5 holes at Leeds are hard. You have a 450-yard hole.
Oh.
You have back-to-back par threes at over 200, and then you have a 550-yard par 5. So there was some golf.
That's big time golf.
And Larry and Jeff got to see the other end of Sand Greens golf, where the greens were really soft, and they did rake them up. If you go out to, Jeff's got some stuff posted I do on my Twitter page of Larry scraping up greens and things like that. So, and afterwards, of course, because there was people there, they actually made us steaks and grilled us baked potatoes, and it was just one of those really cool days to spend with people anyway. And you get the local flavor. They're the 1973 Sand Green champions. 3 of those guys came and played, had all their had their plaque and all their gear with them, to look at yearbooks and schools and how proud they were of what they had there. It was pretty cool.
I can't wait to see all that. So were you guys filming it, or
Jeff did some filming?
Okay.
I don't know what will be out there. So Inform the story is today. And then we did a little tape of the golf show, Jeff Kolpak Golf Show, tomorrow morning between 10 and 11 on the radio. So we went through our day there as well, and it was such an awesome day. And I think what our next goal would be to do is some grass green, some 9-hole grass green courses that are close to us, because Dave Holmes said it best, and Murph was as well. You can play golf anywhere, and this is truly anywhere. And it was pretty cool to we there was a road hole, which you'll hear about in Jeff's story. There was a cow mooing right before a tee shot, and then there's just utter silence.
Utter.
I like that.
Like that? That was a good segue, wasn't it?
That was really good.
Silence. So it was a cool day.
I saw something. I don't know if you posted it or if Greg or if Kolpak posted it, as far as a picture of or a video of Murph raking the green, which is cool as can be.
Yeah.
He's dragging this thing behind. I've never seen that
Yeah.
before, so I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It looked like some work.
There's some activity going on, and the first time that we let Larry push the tee bar to his own ball, right, because you're trying to smooth it out, it was hilarious because Larry pushed it and walked in his line at the same time. So he pushed it pretty cool, but he had spike marks all the way through it. So it's a fun day. Go see Jeff's article in Inform, and I think we're going to try to do more of this.
Really neat.
Thanks, Tori.
Yeah.
Of course.
We got anything else today, guys? That was a decent show.
Do they call
Good
those still
content.
then greens, or they call them browns, or they?
It is called Sand Greens. Yes, for lack of a better term.
You had to get that in, didn't you?
That just seemed weird.
We didn't grow up in the big city that had grass greens, Matt.
The Browns.
I wonder, like, on those 2 courses, like, are they privately owned, or how do they? I mean, I can't imagine. Do they get a lot
I
of
believe
rounds?
right. So I think at both places, the park district in each town owns them. It's not and then they have a lot of volunteers that help do the maintenance. I believe at Leeds, they actually have one person, a part-time person, a high school kid on staff that mows.
Yeah, because I mean, I can't imagine. Maybe they get more rounds than I would.
No, they
anticipate,
don't.
but-
So here's green fees. Green fees were $3 and $5 at each place. A season pass was $40. They don't get a lot of play, but I've been on Highway 2 a lot between Devil's Lake and Minot. I never knew it was that close. It's only, if you look, it's on the south side of the road. It's only you can see it from the highway, so they don't get a lot of play. But I think Men's Day, Ladies' Day are well attended, and then they do have some. They have some certain events throughout the year. Cool. It was awesome. I mean, it was a cool day.
Yeah, that sounds like really fun. I like the part that when you say that you got guys coming out to like show off the yearbooks,
took
and,
ownership.
Like,
I mean, they took ownership of the place, which is like again, golf is like that. No matter what facility you're at, Doesn't matter if you're at LA Country Club or at your Leeds golf course. You have people that take ownership of what you're doing.
Wow. Well, hey, do you guys have anything else to add for this show? That was really good show today. Good content. Can't wait for next week actually, because then we get to talk about all this all over again. We can wrap up the U.S. Open. We can wrap up more Discover Tour. We can. There's a lot of stuff on the schedule. We still got a lot of golf season left. So with that, if you haven't gone to Fargo,
Wow, you're good.
if you haven't done so already, go to fargogolf.net where you can check out all the 5 public golf courses here in the Fargo area. And you can also, there's still time if you want to get that season pass. You can do that. You can book a tee time. You can do so 3 days in advance at any of the area golf courses. And we'd be happy to see your bright, shining faces at any one of our golf shops. So, golf courses are good. People are playing golf. Also, if you haven't looked at Spotify or Facebook or YouTube, check out the Muni Misfits there. We'd be happy to catch a follower alike. So, with that being said, I think we're good, right?
Yep.
Cap
Happy
it.
Father's Day Sunday.
Thanks, and we will see you